Picture this, two teams play for over 2 hours and the score is still tied. Then suddenly everything comes down to one player, one ball, and one goalkeeper. It is called a penalty shootout, and people say it is the most terrifying moment in sports. I have seen grown players cry and entire countries hold their breath, but honestly I do not fully understand how it works or why it feels so cruel, so explain it to me. What exactly is a penalty shootout, and why does it break people? Happy to. By the end, you will understand every rule, and the drama will hit even harder. We will cover when a shootout happens, the exact rules, the mind games, and the famous heartbreaks. Once you see what these players are facing, you will never watch one the same way again. First, a shootout does not happen in the group stage. There, a tie is simply a draw. Shootouts only appear in the knockout rounds, where one team must go through and the other goes home. In the knockouts, there are no draws allowed. Somebody has to win that night, so if the score is level, after the normal 90 minutes, the game is not over. The teams play an extra 30 minutes called extra time, split into 2 halves, and if it is still tied after all of that, then comes the shootout. It is the tiebreaker of last resort, used only when nothing else has separated them. Here is how it works. The ball is placed on the penalty spot 12 yards from the goal. That is the only distance between the kicker and glory or disaster. Each team picks 5 players to take 5 kicks, one at a time, taking turns, one kicker, one keeper, and nothing else. Every other player waits in the center circle. The teams alternate. One team shoots, then the other, back and forth, 5 rounds each. The team that scores more of their 5 penalties wins. Simple to say, brutal to do. The kicker may only strike the ball forward and may not touch it twice. The goalkeeper must stay on the goal line until the ball is kicked. But the keeper is allowed to dance, wave, and try to get inside the kicker's head. A penalty is so close that the keeper usually has to guess which way to dive. The ball travels too fast to react, so the keeper commits early and hopes. That is why a well-struck penalty is scored far more often than it is saved. Now here's the twist. If the score is tied after all 5 kicks each, it does not end, it goes to sudden death. Each team takes 1 kick at a time. If one team scores and the other misses in the same round, it is instantly over. Sudden death can run deep into the squad until even goalkeepers must step up and shoot. So if good penalties are usually scored, why do we call this the cruelest moment in sports? Because a penalty is not really a test of skill, it is a test of nerve. In training, with no one watching, these players score almost every single time, but a shootout is not training. The whole world is watching and everything is on the line. The walk from the center circle to the spot is one of the loneliest in all of sport. It can take 30 seconds, and in that time, a player's mind can betray them. They are not just kicking a ball, they are carrying the hopes of an entire nation. One miss, and a player can become a hero or a villain forever. The pressure is so heavy that legends, the greatest players alive, have missed from 12 yards. It is not about talent in that moment, it is about who can control their own fear. That is what makes it so human and so painful to watch. A whole career, a whole tournament can come down to a single swing of the leg, and unlike a normal goal, there is no team to share the blame. You're completely alone. Win, and you're carried off on shoulders. Miss, and you carry it alone. That is the cruelty. The margin is tiny, but the consequences last a lifetime. It is the closest thing sport has to a coin flip, except the coin has feelings. Now let us talk about the other half of the duel, the goalkeeper. For the keeper, a shootout is a rare chance to become an instant hero. No one expects them to save a penalty, so every save feels like a miracle. The best shootout keepers are part athlete and part actor. They stall, they smile, they point. They do anything to make the kicker doubt. Some keepers study which way a player tends to shoot and gamble on it. Others simply try to look enormous, filling the goal to shrink the target. When a keeper guesses right and makes the save, the roar is deafening. In an instant, the pressure flips. And now the next kicker carries even more weight. A great goalkeeper can win a shootout almost by himself. With nerve and a little theater, history is full of shootouts that became legendary for joy and for heartbreak. The most famous of all came in the 1994 World Cup final here in the United States. Brazil faced Italy, and for the first time ever, a World Cup final went to a shootout. Italy's biggest star, Roberto Baggio, stepped up needing to score to keep his team alive. He blasted the ball high over the bar, and Brazil were champions in an instant. That single miss from one of the greatest players ever defined an entire final. Then there is England, a nation almost cursed by the penalty shootout. For decades, England lost shootout after shootout in tournament after tournament. It became a national fear, a heartbreak passed down through generations of fans. In 2006, France and Italy met in the final, and again it came down to penalties. Italy held their nerve and won the World Cup from the spot. But the greatest shootout drama of all maybe the most recent one. In the 2022 final, Argentina and France produced the greatest final ever played. After a wild draw, it went to a shootout with Lionel Messi's dream on the line. Argentina's goalkeeper became a hero, and Messi finally lifted the trophy. Grown fans wept because they understood exactly how cruel it could have been. For every player carried off in joy, another walked away haunted by a single kick. That is the shootout. It creates legends and breaks hearts in the very same minute. It is unfair, unbearable, and absolutely unforgettable. And it is coming again in 2026, somewhere in the knockout rounds. You can count on it. So how should you, as a new fan, actually watch a shootout? First, watch the long walk. The body language tells you who is calm and who is terrified. Second, watch the goalkeepers act. The little tricks to break the kicker's focus. Third, do not blink when the kicker plants their standing foot. That tells you the direction. And feel the rhythm. Each kick swings the momentum from one side to the other. You do not need to know the players to feel it. The drama is universal. It is sports stripped down to its purest form. One human being against their own nerves. Once you watch a shootout knowing all this, you will be hooked for life. You came in scared of a moment you did not understand. Now you see every layer of it. 0 to hero. A shootout is 12 yards, 1 ball, and a lifetime of pressure in a single kick. It is the rules you now know, wrapped around the most human drama in all of sports. So when 2026 comes down to penalties, you will not just watch, you will understand. You will see the fear, the theater, the courage, and the cruelty all at once. And that is the difference between a casual viewer and a real fan. Subscribe to 0 to Hero, where we turn total beginners into real fans one moment at a time. New video every week. Tell me below, what is the most painful penalty miss you have ever seen?